In my previous life, as the daughter of the richest man, I married down to a Phoenix man from a humble background. I helped him rise to the top. But after marriage, he grew tired of me because I gave birth to a son with intellectual disabilities. He drowned both me and our son in the sea. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day the Phoenix man knelt at the gate of my family's villa to propose. However, this time, he wasn't proposing to me but to my half-minus sister, an illegitimate daughter of my father. I knew he had also been reborn. In my previous life, due to my noble birth, outstanding talent, and beautiful appearance, young masters from wealthy families all considered it an honor to marry me. My younger sister, being timid and meek, was overshadowed by me. But later, my sister and I got married and had children one after another. My sister was blessed with fertility and gave birth to 3 children in 5 years, while I could only have a son with intellectual disabilities. And I was bullied and insulted by my husband. Little did he know that my husband himself had a physical defect and wasn't a real man in the true sense. I almost lost my life trying to get pregnant, and if not for that, he would never have had a child in his life. Reborn for a second life. The Phoenix man didn't hesitate to choose my sister, who had an easy minus to minus conceived constitution. He thought that since they were both daughters of the richest man, he could rise to prominence and have 3 children in 5 years. One rumble the sky was overcast with dark clouds, and there was lightning and thunder. My son and I were tied to a large rock. My husband, Hugo, was about to push us, mother and son, from the top of the mountain into the surging sea, so that there would be no evidence of our deaths. Hugo's eyes were ferocious, and his expression was sinister. Go and die with your retarded son. When he pushed me down, I used my last bit of strength to hold onto him tightly. In Hugo's terrified eyes, he was buried in the sea along with us. Sister, you're so lucky. Hugo is actually bringing all his assets right in front of you. My sister, Yvonne, said enviously and jealously as she pushed me. I suddenly came to my senses and looked at Hugo, who was kneeling on the ground holding flowers, and my father, mother, and half-minus sister Yvonne standing beside him. I blinked hard. Didn't I die? I pinched myself. Looking at the surrounding environment, I suddenly realized that I had been reborn. I was reborn on the day Hugo proposed to me. Hugo, you're a hard-working and motivated young man. Our Victor family doesn't value family background either. I wonder which one of my daughters you're proposing to? My father had also built the Victor family's business empire from a poor young man. He always cherished talent and valued young people like Hugo, who worked hard and strived to move forward on their own. I gritted my teeth and looked at Hugo, who was kneeling on the ground. When he looked at me, I wished I could go up and gouge out his eyes. I clearly remembered that in the next second, he would not hesitate to propose to me and promise to treat me well for the rest of his life. But at this moment, when our eyes met, I saw deep disgust in his eyes. I sincerely asked the chairman to approve my marriage to the second young lady. Yvonne, we truly love each other, he said. After that, he kowtowed heavily. I narrowed my eyes and was very sure that Hugo had also been reborn. My sister Yvonne covered her small mouth with her hand, and her eyes were filled with shock and gratitude. When she looked at me, there was a hint of joy and pride in having defeated me for the first time. Because she was an illegitimate daughter, and I was the legitimate eldest young lady. She had long lost her balance in her heart under my halo and hated me. Yvonne had already had an affair with Hugo. It was just that in the previous life, Hugo was reluctant to give up on me, the Golden Phoenix, and kept stringing Yvonne along without giving her a proper status. Later, not long after I married Hugo, Yvonne also got married. But after marriage, Hugo didn't break off his relationship with Yvonne, and they still had an affair in private. Yvonne gave birth to 3 children in 5 years after marriage. And Hugo always thought they were his own. And I went through so much. Taking injections and medicine. Almost losing half my life. Just to have a son with Hugo, who had as the no sperm IA. And the son turned out to have intellectual disabilities. Hugo had a cunning plan. He cruelly killed me and my son to pave the way for Yvonne. After all, once I, the legitimate eldest young lady, was dead, the huge fortune of the Victor family would belong to Yvonne and her children. Hugo couldn't wait to inherit the Victor family's fortune while holding his 3 sons. In my previous life, I only found out on my deathbed that after I gave birth to my son with intellectual disabilities, all the rumors in the social circle about me having promiscuous relationships with men before marriage, being ruined and unable to have children for a long time, and finally having a retarded child were all spread by Hugo. He hated me to the bone for not giving him a healthy son despite his family having only one son for 3 generations. In this life, I'm going to see clearly how he can rise to prominence and have a large family without me. My father had always been optimistic about Hugo's prospects for development. He immediately asked my sister Yvonne for her opinion. Yvonne excitedly went up and hugged Hugo. I'm willing to marry Hugo. Hugo, hadn't fulfilled my obsession. Feeling satisfied, put his arm around Yvonne. His eyes were full of ambition and greed, as if he could already see the bright future after marrying Yvonne. That night, Hugo appeared at the largest restaurant in our city. He was full of pride in front of his cronies and said, "Guys, I'm about to soar to great heights soon. Not to be rude, Hugo, but if you married Selena, that would really be a rise to prominence. What kind of help can Yvonne, an illegitimate daughter, give you?" "Yeah. Hugo, didn't you swear not long ago that you would marry Selena? How come it's suddenly Yvonne? That illegitimate daughter?" Hugo cursed. "What do you guys know? That Selena is just a slut who has been ruined by men and can't have children. Our family has only one son like me. Even though our current economic situation is vastly different from that of the Victor family, we will never accept an damaged woman." My sister and I were behind the screen and heard Hugo and the others' conversation clearly. I was so angry that my whole body was shaking. In my previous life, I didn't hear how Hugo slandered my reputation behind my back. I didn't expect to hear it with my own ears on the first night of my rebirth. Yvonne pretended to comfort me. "Sister, don't take it too hard. Hugo was just drunk." I knew that Yvonne and Hugo had deliberately set up this situation to humiliate me. I kicked away the screen blocking me and directly splashed the water in the teacup on Hugo's face. "Who do you think you are? You don't even have the right to criticize me." The old grudges made Hugo, who had lost face at this moment, fly into a rage. In full view of everyone, he told everyone, "You know very well how many men you've slept with. You've already been ruined. I'll put it right here. Even if you take injections and medicine to have a child, it will still be a retarded one." Everyone in the restaurant started to point and talk about me. Spreading slut-shaming rumors is always the fastest way to ruin a girl. But I couldn't tell the truth that Hugo had as the no sperm IA and wasn't really a man. I couldn't let him know that I had also been reborn. I could only swallow my anger and stop myself from having a quick tongue. Just wait a little longer. Just a little longer. I will definitely make him lose face and have nothing. On the day Hugo and my sister got married, it was a grand occasion. In order to save face and for his bright future, Hugo almost spent all his savings on this wedding. He gave my sister Yvonne enough dignity. Even in his reborn life, he still couldn't get rid of his short-sightedness. As for me, because of the slut-shaming rumors spread by Hugo and the rumors that I couldn't have children, my reputation in the social circle had already been ruined. The young masters who had been very attentive to me before began to avoid me like the plague. No prestigious family wanted to marry a woman who couldn't have children or who would give birth to a retarded child. The rumors spread more and more wildly. And soon there were many rumors about me participating in orgies and the seedy night banquet. Described so vividly as if people had witnessed it with their own eyes. My parents tried to refute the rumors for me. But there were too many rumors and they couldn't find the source at all. So they couldn't eradicate them. Compared with their anxiety, I was much calmer. Having lived to lifetimes, I had no intention of getting married in this life. Wouldn't it be nice to be a happy single rich woman? After the wedding, when they came back to visit my parents' home, Hugo, accompanied by Yvonne, who looked radiant after being well taken care of, sneered at me. Selena. I heard that there are all kinds of scandalous rumors about you everywhere. I'm afraid you'll never be able to get married in this life. Right? I lifted my eyelids. It's better not to get married than to marry a dog. Hugo wanted to lose his temper but didn't dare to act recklessly in the Victor family. He gave a cold laugh. Indeed. As long as you don't get married, no one will know that you're a hen that can't lay eggs. That's what you're thinking. Isn't it? Yvonne also chimed in delicately. Sister. Since you can't have children and your body is also damaged, you might as well find a divorced man with children. The 50-year old security guard in our community. I think he's quite suitable. I gave a cold look at Yvonne's belly and curled my lips into a smile. If you can have children, have a few more. One child with one father. And you can have a large family. 3 You can't have children yourself. And you're deliberately trying to disgust me. Yvonne turned around and wiped her tears in front of Hugo, looking very aggrieved. Hugo protected Yvonne as if he was protecting his own future. Why are you talking so much to that jealous slut? Let's go. At the homecoming banquet, Hugo and Yvonne were inseparable. Hugo vowed to my father that he would never let Yvonne down in this life, firmly establishing his image as a loving husband. I looked at this familiar scene and only thought it was extremely ridiculous. Hugo had also said these words while holding my hand in my previous life. In his reborn life. When facing Yvonne, whom he had always wanted to marry, he didn't even bother to think more about the vows. Was I really blind in my previous life to have married down to such a scumbag? I not only hurt myself but also that poor child. Thinking of that child whom I had tried so hard to conceive. He never understood until his death that his birth was a tragedy. My heart ached unbearably. At night, I got drunk in a bar with my friend Luna. I mumbled incoherently about my child. Luna, drunk, wank, patted my shoulder. You want a child? Then you have to choose a man with good genes to have a child with. I was taken aback. Have a child with someone else? Luna slurred her words. Yes. Yes. You don't want to get married but still want a child. If you don't have a child with someone else, how are you going to get pregnant? I seemed to be suddenly enlightened. You're right. But this candidate. Luna gave a sly smile. I know a man with absolutely excellent genes. He's good minus looking. Has a great figure. And is also very intelligent. I was skeptical. If there's really such a good man, wouldn't you have already made a move? Luna looked embarrassed. He doesn't like my type. But I'm telling you, he's really a top-notch guy. If you get pregnant with his child, whether it's a boy or a girl, it will definitely be beautiful and smart. I was tempted by what Luna said. After talking for so long. Who on earth is this man? Luna said. My new neighbor who just moved in next door. He doesn't go out much. But that face. That temperament. That figure. He's even more outstanding than the most popular male celebrity. That's him. I patted Luna's shoulder, fully believing in her taste for handsome men. I'm going to ask him to have a child with me. Luna was sobered up a lot by my pat. You. Are you serious? That handsome guy doesn't have a very good temper. And we don't know his background. Aren't you afraid of getting into trouble? I'll use some medicine. When he wakes up, he'll forget everything. Of course. I won't sleep with him for nothing. I'll leave him some money. And I won't contact him again in the future. Seeing that I had even thought about the way out, Luna swallowed hard. What if you don't get pregnant the first time? I'll calculate my ovulation period. At worst, I can also take ovulation injections. As long as there's nothing wrong with his body, there's no reason why I can't get pregnant. I looked at Luna seriously. Is he in the room next door to your left? My hasty decision made Luna stutter in fright. Why, yes. I thought for 2 seconds. Then let's do it next Monday. It's an auspicious day. Luna couldn't keep up with my jumping thoughts. What's so auspicious about Monday? It's my ovulation day. I was still calculating how to give the other person a good experience on that day. When I went to the restroom, I bumped into a handsome guy. He was really good minus looking. Tall and slender. The hand that was around my waist didn't let go. When our eyes met, Our breaths became hot. I guessed that he had feelings for me. Do you want to have a child with me? I'll give you one, he said in a hoarse voice. Obviously, he had heard my conversation with Luna earlier and came to seduce me on purpose. I thought he was no less handsome than the handsome neighbor Luna had mentioned. The moment I nodded, he carried me into a large car. Our breaths intertwined, and our bodies were tightly wrapped around each other. My mind began to go blank, for when I woke up, my whole body ached. Frowning and about to let out a low moan of discomfort, I saw the man lying on the same bed as me. They say that there are no ugly people in a bar at night. No matter how ordinary one's appearance is. Under the bar lights, everyone looks outstanding. Unexpectedly, this man in front of me was even more handsome during the day, and he was last night. I didn't wake him up. I tiptoed around and put on my clothes. Before leaving, I gently touched his handsome face. You were quite good last night. You should be able to make me successfully pregnant. I should thank you. This money is your reward. I put down all the cash I had, although I didn't know the market price for a 1- night stand. I didn't think I was short-changing him. Thinking that I could have a healthy child this time to make up for the regret of my previous life, my steps home became much lighter. However, this good mood disappeared completely when I heard that my parents had arranged several blind dates for me one after another. Blind dates? 7 of them? I'm not going. I have no intention of getting married. My father was very angry when he heard that I didn't want to get married. Nonsense. Which girl doesn't get married? Your sister, who is 2 years younger than you, is already married. If you don't hurry up, you'll really become an old maid. Being an old maid is better than marrying the wrong person. In any case, I won't get married. My previous marriage had already made me extremely repulsed by the idea of marriage. I firmly refused my father. But my father was also stubborn. The blind date candidates I've chosen for you, regardless of their family background, have absolutely excellent character. What do you mean by marrying the wrong person? I've just spoiled you too much. My father waved his hand grandly. You guys keep a close eye on her. Don't let her go out and run around recently. Let her wait patiently for the blind dates. I was forcibly locked in my bedroom by the servants. After Luna sobered up, she called me. You really weren't being a good friend by suddenly running off last night. I just ran into that handsome neighbor again. It's just that. It seems he has a girlfriend. I saw hickeys on his neck. So you'll have to find someone else for the baby minus making thing. I don't need him anymore. Luna, what do you mean? You're not planning to have a child anymore? No. I thought for a moment and told her about my 1- night encounter last night. So, I might already be pregnant. Luna was shocked. What kind of man was it? He's not some shady guy who sells his body. Is he? I hesitated for a moment. I don't think so. I saw that he was driving a Maybach. And his clothes and demeanor were extraordinary. He shouldn't need to sell his body for money. Luna sighed. You don't know this. But handsome guys who sell their bodies are like magnets for money. They sell their bodies to rich women for large amounts of cash. And then they dress up nicely and drive the luxury cars to pick up young girls. I was a bit stunned. After all, the genes of male escorts might not be very good and could affect the child in my belly. I fell into a deep silence because of Luna's words. 3 days later, I was still taking a nap when my father called me out for a blind date. He said that the other person would come to our house in half an hour, and asked me to dress up nicely. I was taken aback. Nowadays, who among young people goes on a blind date directly at home? Shouldn't they find a coffee shop or something and get to know each other and chat first? In the living room, as soon as my parents saw me come down, they immediately introduced the situation of the other person to me. The man's name is Leonard. Although his family background is average, he's very ambitious and capable. He's a young talent. If you marry him, I'm sure he won't dare to let you suffer any grievances. Is that all? I asked. My mother looked at me suspiciously. What do you mean? Is that all? I blinked my eyes. It's so slow to have just one blind date at a time. I was thinking of having a few more to save time. Sister is really greedy. No wonder people outside are spreading rumors about your promiscuous private life. Even if sister is naturally like that, she should still consider our Victor family to some extent. Yvonne leaned against Hugo as if she had no bones. As if she was afraid that others wouldn't know how much in love they were as a couple. I didn't plan to pay attention to such stupid provocation. There would surely be someone to scold her. Sure enough. As soon as I picked up the teacup and took a sip, my father slapped the table. What kind of nonsense are you talking, Dad? Yvonne means well. She doesn't want Selena to damage the reputation of the Victor family. She's thinking of our family. Hugo hated me to death for dragging him to die with me at the last moment in my previous life. As long as he could make things difficult for me, he would do it with great pleasure. I was really blind in my previous life to the fallen for such a scoundrel. It's so annoying. The eldest young lady of the Victor family is beautiful and dignified. How can she be said to be damaging the reputation of the Victor family? Before the person arrived, a deep and sexy voice had already sounded. I couldn't help but perk up my ears. This voice. Why does it sound a bit familiar? The simple pure black shirt outlined his smooth and beautiful muscle lines. And the well-minus iron suit pants wrapped around his long legs. His extremely masculine figure full of hormones was already a rare sight. And his face was even more exquisitely handsome. Leonard. Hearing the name he pronounced, I swallowed hard. He looked familiar. Really familiar. I stared at Leonard intently, trying to remember where I had seen him before. My parents were very satisfied with Leonard, who showed up looking very handsome and protected me. However, the expressions on Hugo's and Yvonne's faces were uglier than each other. Miss, you're looking at me like this. Are you satisfied? Leonard raised his sword eyebrows slightly and spoke in a teasing tone. No one could say they were not satisfied when looking at this face. But the lighting in the bar that night was too dim. And the morning when I woke up in the hotel was too chaotic. I just couldn't associate the male escort that Luna suspected with the Leonard in front of me, who had an abstinent and solemn expression. I'm satisfied. But it's just that. Before I could finish my hesitant words, I was interrupted by Leonard. In that case, I want to propose to Miss Selena. I was stunned. And so were my parents. Hugo. And Yvonne. Was he being this direct? I seriously thought for 2 seconds and said seriously. I think we still need to get to know each other first. Leonard, when I came here, I saw that the Victor family's mansion is very beautiful. I wonder if Miss Selena could show me around. He was quick-witted and immediately thought of a place to get to know each other. I was originally being reserved. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw a flash of jealousy and ferocity in Hugo's eyes. So I immediately agreed. Then please come this way, Mr. Leonard. My parents looked at our backs with relief and were very satisfied. I quickly led Leonard to a secluded place in the backyard. After making sure there was no one around, I turned around to look at Leonard. Leonard's lips curved slightly. And his voice was also pleasant. What does Miss Selena want to say to me? I didn't know if it was my imagination, but I felt that his voice had a bit of a seductive tone. I swallowed hard. Although we're on a blind date and don't have a strong emotional foundation, I think we should be honest with each other. It's not that we don't have an emotional foundation. He interrupted me. I hesitated. Huh? Leonard, I've been in love with Miss Selena for many years. And we have a deep emotional foundation. I was a bit stunned and blurted out instinctively. What if I'm already pregnant with someone else's child? After saying that, I quickly lowered my head, unable to bear to see disappointment and disgust on his handsome face. The questioning I had imagined and didn't come. A well-defined finger slowly pressed on my belly. I immediately got goosebumps all over my body. Wasn't he going to try to get rid of the child in my belly out of hatred because of love? I was so scared by this thought that I quickly stepped back. You let out a low sigh. Don't be impulsive. My parents don't know about this. I didn't mean to hide it from you. Have you taken a test? He asked. I shook my head. Not yet. It's too early. I need to wait a bit longer. Leonard raised his sword eyebrows. In that case, I'm actually getting a good deal. Marry one and get one for free. I was shocked. You don't mind being a stepfather? Did he love me that much? Leonard, I'm extremely delighted. I stared into his eyes, trying to see his true thoughts in his eyes. But I only saw doubting in his eyes. I'm carrying another man's child. I repeated it again. Leonard smiled but didn't speak. I didn't give up and asked him, aren't you physically disabled? So you want to get a child for free? The corners of Leonard's mouth twitched with a smile. Don't worry. I'm strong and healthy. I guarantee that I'll make you satisfied with our married life. That night, I told Luna about this. Luna laughed so hard that she almost fell over. It's a good thing. He's strong and healthy and doesn't mind raising a child for you. What a great thing. What are you still hesitating about? Don't you think there's something strange about this? There aren't many men who are this tolerant and magnanimous. Luna, maybe. He's so in love with you that he has no boundaries? This reason. I rested my chin in my hand and looked at Luna faintly. Do you think this is a valid reason? Luna, I think you're just thinking too much. Was I really thinking too much? I speculated and hesitated. And then I waited until Leonard grandly brought 8.8 million yuan in beautiful gifts. Gold bars, a sports car, and a large flat in the city center. Yvonne and Hugo were both there at that time. After seeing clearly what Leonard had brought, Yvonne, who had only received 200 Dorian in betrothal gifts for her marriage, almost had a fight with Hugo on the spot. Both of them had average family backgrounds. Leonard was more handsome than Hugo, and the betrothal gifts were more than 50 times that of Hugo's. This was undoubtedly a great loss of face for Yvonne. 6. The betrothal gifts were grandly brought into the Victor family, and people passing by couldn't help but take a look. My parents also didn't expect that Leonard, who had an average family background, would be so generous. Victor, are you sure Leonard has an average family background? The total value of these betrothal gifts is probably around 50 million yuan. My father stroked his chin. Could it be that Leonard has emptied his family fortune for our daughter? Yvonne gritted her teeth. Sister, your future brother minus in minus law is so good to you. He emptied his family fortune to save your face. Do you really want to outshine your sister so much? I really didn't want to respond to such stupid words. But if I didn't respond, there would always be someone else looking for attention. Hugo's smile was full of jealousy that couldn't be hidden. He has saved face for the engagement, but if he has to scrape together money for the wedding, it will really become a joke. People shouldn't be too materialistic. You don't need to worry about that. Brother minus in minus law. It's my blessing in my previous life to be able to marry Selena. I will definitely give her the grandest wedding. Leonard strode over and looked down at Hugo with a strong sense of oppression, making Hugo not dare to say anything more and could only smile awkwardly. This is a little token of my appreciation. Thank you, Father minus in minus law and Mother minus in minus law, for giving your beloved daughter in marriage to me. Leonard bowed to my parents. My father quickly helped him up and said with relief, we've all seen your sincerity. Since you're sincere, our Victor family will never be stingy when giving our daughter in marriage. I will prepare the dowry to match the betrothal gifts. Yvonne and Hugo were both greatly surprised at the same time. Prepare it to match? Didn't that mean there would also be a dowry of several million yuan? Yvonne, Dad, how can you be so biased? My dowry was only 1 million yuan. Hugo, yes. Father minus in minus law. This. If outsiders find out, how will Yvonne be able to face others in the future? Seeing their money minus grubbing faces, I only felt disgusted. The amount of the betrothal gifts and the dowry are the rules passed down from our Victor family's ancestors. Strictly speaking, the dowry for you, sister, has already exceeded the rules. After all, brother minus in minus law only gave 200 yuan in betrothal gifts. Yvonne's sister, how can you? Whether it's the betrothal gifts or the dowry, they are all Selena's prenuptial property. And I won't interfere. Leonard's words silenced Hugo and Yvonne. My parents were even more satisfied with Leonard after hearing this. I originally thought that this engagement was the greatest sincerity Leonard could show me. But I didn't expect that on the wedding day, he directly gave me a wedding of the century. There were luxury cars everywhere at the wedding venue. And celebrities from the political and business circles gathered. A 5-star hotel was directly booked. And there were hundreds of tables of banquets with a large crowd of people. I was a bit dazed looking at such a grand scene. Didn't they say that Leonard was just a rising business star? How could a rising business star invite several people, who often appear on the news broadcast? Even our Victor family didn't have such ability. You let out a low sigh. Are you hiding something from me? I asked Leonard. People are in high spirits on happy occasions. Leonard was already handsome. And he looked even more outstanding in a suit today. My feelings for you can be witnessed by the sun and the moon. He didn't answer my question directly. When I wanted to ask further, he put his arm around my waist and led me to toast the guests. My wife can't hold her liquor well. She'll replace wine with tea. Thank you all for coming today. Leonard raised his glass and drank it all in one gulp. Upon hearing this, the guests who came today all smiled and made fun of Leonard's behavior of protecting his wife. Only Hugo, the troublemaker, couldn't stand being left out. Sister minus and minus law is getting married to brother minus and minus law today. Brother minus and minus law has made such a grand scene to please you. Sister minus and minus law. You shouldn't have any more contact with those men in the future. Or you'll break brother minus and minus law's heart. Hugo held a wine glass and, taking advantage of the alcohol, kept slandering me. On this joyous day, I couldn't help but want to pick up the teacup next to me and throw it at him. But someone was one step ahead of me. Leonard poured all the remaining wine on Hugo's face and said in a deep voice, Brother minus and minus law is drunk and talking nonsense. Are you sober now? Hugo's face turned livid. How dare you? Leonard firmly protected me behind him and looked down at Hugo. So what? The veins on Hugo's neck popped out, and he clenched and unclenched his fists. But he was already inferior to Leonard in terms of momentum. In the end, he could only wave his hand and leave with a harsh word. I'll just see how long you can protect this hen that can't lay eggs. I had endured him for a long time. Some despicable men like to blame their own impotence and inability to have children on women and then bite people like crazy dogs outside. They just can't stand to see others doing well. I looked up at Leonard. Husband. Don't you think such people are despicable? Leonard's lips curved into a smile. Yes. Hugo was so angry that his face turned livid by our coordinated actions. In the end, he could only slink away. After the wedding, I was so tired that I collapsed on the wedding bed and didn't even have the strength to move my fingers. Leonard stood by the bed, slowly pulling at his tie with his slender fingers. And then his long legs suddenly pressed on the bed. The moment the bed sank slightly, I suddenly sat up. Don't do anything stupid. Leonard raised his eyebrows. We've already got the marriage certificate. And the wedding is over. How can it be called doing something stupid? I swallowed hard. Well, that's not what I meant. Although we're legally married now, I'm already pregnant. And we can't. Before the baby is born. Leonard, you're right. But I just want to help you change into your pajamas and go take a shower. I quickly said. No. There's no need to be so polite. I can go by myself. I quickly got up to look for my pajamas. Before I fled into the bathroom, I heard Leonard's sigh-like voice. It seems that my wife is being too polite to me. Lying in the bathtub, thinking about everything that had happened recently, I felt a sense of unreality and trance. I was really married again. Did I marry the right person this time? 7 months after getting married, I told my family that I was pregnant. Coincidentally, that very afternoon, Yvonne also came home on purpose to say that she was pregnant too. My parents thought it was a double blessing. But I almost spat out the water I hadn't swallowed yet. Yvonne was pregnant too? I'm absolutely certain that Hugo can't have children. They had only been married for 3 months. And Yvonne had already cheated? I told Luna about this. Luna shrugged. Well, this is going to be interesting. That despicable man Hugo spread rumors that you couldn't have children. Now you're pregnant. And he himself can't have children while his wife is pregnant. When the truth comes out, he'll lose all face and won't be able to show his face in public. I nodded repeatedly and stroked my belly. Luna, your child is also a bit of a problem. If the child doesn't look like Leonard at all, your sister and brother minus and minus law might spread all sorts of rumors about you. Leonard said he doesn't mind. He's also very good to the child. The child was less than 2 months old, and Leonard had already prepared a lot of small clothes and shoes for the child at home. Luna and I were tired from shopping, so we randomly found a restaurant to eat. Just as we were about to enter the private room, we heard Hugo bragging to his friends. Both sisters are pregnant one after another? What kind of thing can that slut Selena, who has been ruined by men, give birth to? How can she be compared with the child of me and Yvonne? I'll put it right here. Even if Selena gives birth, she can only have a retarded child. She's already been ruined by men. Once the child is born, no matter how much Leonard pretends to love her now, he'll hate her that much later. He might even want to kill her. Luna was so angry that she wanted to go up and slap him, but I stopped her. There's no need to argue with such a person. He'll reap what he sows on the day of the childbirth. According to the pregnancy time, I was originally supposed to give birth a month earlier than Yvonne. But when I was pushed into the delivery room, I found that Yvonne was also there. Yvonne had a premature birth. My parents, Leonard, and Hugo were all waiting outside. I was in so much pain that I didn't have the energy to think more. I just wanted to give birth to the child quickly. My delivery was going smoothly at first. But in the middle of it, Hugo went crazy and shouted in the corridor for Yvonne to give birth to the child at the scheduled time. At 8:08 in the evening. It's an auspicious time, I had someone calculate. My son's birth time can't be off by even a second. I don't know how Yvonne felt when she heard these words, but I was really annoyed. Fortunately, having fulfilled my upside with Leonard's loud slap, Hugo's voice disappeared. 4 hours later, I gave birth to a boy first, and the child's cry was loud and clear. I only had time to take a quick look before I fainted from exhaustion. Half an hour later, Yvonne also gave birth to a boy, who neither cried nor made a fuss. Hugo kept praising his precious son for being calm and mature, saying that he would surely be a great man in the future, completely forgetting that the son with intellectual disabilities in his previous life was also the same way at birth. The night the child was born, Hugo held a grand banquet as if he were entertaining important guests and announced to everyone that he now had an heir. I was lying in the hospital bed, drinking the chicken soup that Leonard fed to my mouth, and I just felt it was absurd and pitiful. Did Yvonne go? Leonard, no. Seeing my reaction, Leonard told me another thing. That child might not be very healthy. I raised my eyes. What's wrong with him? Leonard gently tapped his forehead. I was suddenly taken aback. But that child isn't Hugo's. Why does he also have intellectual disabilities? Was there something I had missed? In my previous life, I gave birth to a child with intellectual disabilities because Hugo himself had problems. But why did Yvonne? Could it be that the child Yvonne gave birth to was really Hugo's? No, that's impossible. In my previous life, I went through several years of taking injections and medicine before I managed to get pregnant with great difficulty. Even if Yvonne had an extremely easy minus to minus conceived constitution, it was impossible. I couldn't figure out the key to all this. The next day, having fulfilled my obsession, many celebrities and noble families who had attended my wedding with Leonard came to visit me and the child. Hugo also came to my ward holding his precious son. He heard that my child, except for crying a couple of times right after birth, had been sleeping quietly and rarely opened his eyes in the middle. This reminded him of the stupid child in his previous life, and he wanted to embarrass me in front of everyone. Selena, I was right after all. Even if Leonard takes good care of you, you can only give birth to a retarded child. His malicious and ferocious voice made everyone present gasp in surprise. The child of General Manager Leonard has intellectual problems? Is this true or false? Facing the speculation around me, seeing my son who was about to be woken up, I was so angry and I wanted to slap Hugo in the face. Slap, I didn't do it. But Leonard did. A loud slap directly swelled half of Hugo's face. Hugo was slapped twice by Leonard within 2 days. His face turned livid, and he was about to fight back. Leonard waved his hand, and the bodyguards held Hugo down. Unable to break free, Hugo started shouting loudly. What? Are you scared, Selena? Are you afraid that everyone will know you gave birth to a retarded child? You bitch. Whoever marries you is doomed for life. You're a curse. A jinx. While he was shouting like a hooligan, the doctor came in with 2 test reports. Sir, I'm afraid you got one thing wrong. There is indeed a child with intellectual disabilities among the 2 children. But it's not the child of General Manager Leonard and Mrs. Leonard. Everyone suddenly understood. My child with Leonard had no problem. So the child with intellectual disabilities could only be 9. General Manager Leonard and his wife are both outstanding in appearance and ability. How could they give birth to a child with intellectual disabilities? It turns out that it's someone else's child. He came in here shouting and accusing Mrs. Leonard. It's really hate. Hugo's eyes almost popped out. This is impossible. Hugo grabbed the doctor's collar with one hand and glared angrily. What are you talking nonsense about? My child can't be retarded. Only Selena can give birth to a fool. What benefits did she give you to make you talk nonsense here? The doctor pushed Hugo's hand away. Sir, the test results are right here. If you have any doubts, you can go to other hospitals for verification. Hugo was about to say something more when he saw Yvonne, who came over hearing the commotion. He completely ignored her weak body after a natural delivery and pulled her in. You tell them. Tell them our child can't have any problems at all. It's Selena. All this is Selena's scheme. Yvonne looked at the test report handed over by the doctor. When she saw the last column, suspected intellectual disabilities caused by drug stimulation, her eyes were filled with hatred. Drugs? It's the drugs I took. Hugo slapped Yvonne in the face. I told you to talk. Are you deaf? Yvonne covered her face and tears streamed down like rain. She held up the test sheet. It's the drugs you made me take that made the child stupid. It's you who insisted that I give birth to a child in a short time. It's the drugs you gave me. Yvonne grabbed Hugo. Give me back my child. Give me back my healthy child. I was stunned. So, it was the drugs that stimulated the child's brain. These 2 people had always been scheming to get the Victor family's fortune. They were unforgivable. But the child was innocent after all. Hugo pushed Yvonne away. Useless thing. It's your own fault for being useless. You have the nerve to cry for giving birth to a fool. You can raise this fool yourself. With that, he stuffed the child into Yvonne's arms and turned around to leave. He destroyed Yvonne's last hope for this marriage with his own hands. Yvonne was crying non-stop. I stopped Leonard, who wanted to expose the true identity of the child. Leonard thought I had softened my heart and frowned slightly. But he still respected my idea. But Yvonne, he treated you like this. Don't you want to get revenge on him? I looked meaningfully at the child in her arms. You also have a trump card to deal the final blow to Hugo. To make him lose all face and regret hurting you. Don't you? Yvonne couldn't stand any more stimulation at this time and hugged the child tightly with hatred. I continued. You've suffered so much. Taken so many drugs. Made so many efforts. And finally managed to get pregnant. But he made your child intellectually disabled and left you and your child alone. Hatred burned in Yvonne's eyes. She rushed out and shouted. Hugo. You're a fake man with as the no sperm IA. You can't have children at all. You'll never be able to have children in your life. The child I gave birth to isn't yours either. 10. Everyone in the corridor heard her words. Hugo's footsteps suddenly stopped. He turned around ferociously. What did you say? You bitch. How dare you cheat on me? The 2 of them started fighting. Yvonne, it's you. A disabled person. Who insisted on having a child. So I had to find another man to have a child with. It's you. You who ruined my originally healthy child. Give me back my child. I listened to the screams of the 2 of them fighting outside and gently teased the newborn child in my arms. Murder. Murder. The sounds of fighting turned into sounds of horror. I paused and gently covered the child's ears. Leonard took a look at the door and came back to tell me. Hugo snatched the scalpel from the nurse's trolley and stabbed Yvonne and the child to death. Whether in my previous life or this life. No matter which woman was by Hugo's side. As long as she blocked his way or made him lose face. He would not hesitate to get rid of her. In my previous life, he at least knew to find a place where no one was around to kill me. But now he actually dared to commit murder in the hospital in broad daylight. He really didn't want to light anymore. Don't let him run away. I held Leonard's hand. Leonard held my hand and said, "Okay." My parents dealt with the bodies of Yvonne and the innocent child. And the police were also chasing the murderer. 3 days later, I was discharged from the hospital and went home to recuperate after childbirth. Hugo, who had been hiding from the police, stopped in front of our family with a crazy and ferocious expression. "Selena, it's you who ruined everything for me. You've been reborn too, haven't you? You killed me in your previous life. And you want to ruin me in this life too." Facing his accusation, I just thought it was ridiculous. Who was trying to harm whom? If you don't let me have a good life, I will never let you have a good life either. My heart tightened. Seeing the fruit knife hidden behind his waist, I held Leonard's hand tightly. Leonard held the child in one hand and comforted me. "It's okay. I'm here." I looked up at his handsome profile and felt more at ease than ever before. "Be careful." Hugo looked at our loving scene with red eyes. He held the knife towards me and said, "Leonard, do you know what kind of bitch you're protecting? The child in your hand isn't yours at all. Selena has cheated on you long ago. Kill her. And you'll still have your face." Leonard kicked Hugo in the chest. Looking at his cowardly appearance of not being able to get up for a long time, he stepped on Hugo's chest and told him word by word, "Sorry. Selena's child is mine." Hugo thought he didn't believe him and said ferociously, "I have the record of her checking into a hotel with another man." Before he could take out the evidence, Leonard stepped on his groin. Amid Hugo's shrill screams, Leonard told him, "The person who went to the hotel with her was me. She has only had me as a man from beginning to end. The child is the crystallization of our love. Do you understand?" Hugo shouted madly, "This is impossible. This is impossible." The police rushed over and arrested Hugo on the charge of murder. Before Hugo was taken into the police car, Leonard whispered to him, "Reborn for a second life. You still get nothing. You're a waste." Hugo's eyes were filled with hatred. He wanted to say something, but Leonard punched him in the mouth. Hugo would face a lifetime of imprisonment. Leonard turned around to look for us. Mother and son. I stared at him up and down. Leonard smiled apologetically. "Why are you looking at me like this? Wife? Don't you think you should explain something to me?" Leonard raised his eyebrows. "Let's go home. And I'll explain it to you slowly. 10 I've been reborn. In the villa." Leonard suddenly said this. I widened my eyes in shock. You said what? You've been reborn too." Leonard didn't ask anything about my words been reborn too. He just chuckled. And I understood that he already knew I had been reborn. "I was reborn on the day you were about to be proposed to by Hugo." I immediately wanted to stop the proposal. But that day Hugo proposed to your sister instead. At that moment, I knew he had also been reborn. I suddenly understood a lot of things. "So that night in the bar." Leonard smiled. "It was a very beautiful encounter." I pointed at him and accused. "It was clearly your premeditation." Leonard held my hand. "Yes, cutting fulfilled my assertion. I've been plotting for you for a long time." His sudden confession made me blush a little. "Don't think that I'll forgive you for lying to me just because you said that. Since it was you in the nightclub that night and we both went to the hotel, why didn't you say anything when you came to propose?" Leonard cried out, wronged. Heaven and earth can bear witness. We were inseparable all night in the hotel. And I immediately went to the Victor family to propose marriage. Who would have known? I pinched myself. Looking at the surrounding environment, I suddenly realized that I had been reborn. Well, when he said that, I couldn't help feeling a bit guilty and made excuses for myself with a laugh. "Well, there's quite a big difference between when you're dressed and when you're not. My husband is really a wonderful person who looks thin in clothes and has a great figure without them." Leonard pinched my chin and leaned in closer. "I was dressed in the bar. What do you have to say about that?" The lighting in the bar was so dim. How could it show off my husband's handsome face? Leonard let out a soft laugh, lowered his head and bit my lips. You have a sharp tongue. Our son was sleeping peacefully in the small bed next to us. I wrapped my arm around Leonard's neck. So when did you fall in love with me in your previous life? Leonard, when you were 17 years old. I widened my eyes in surprise. You had a crush on me for 10 years? I was a bit angry. You had a crush on me for 10 years with this handsome face. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Thinking about how I married Hugo in my previous life, took care of his family and gave birth to his child. I was furious. Leonard, in the previous life, you loved Hugo so much. I knew I had no hope. All I could do was wait silently. It was only when I saw with my own eyes that he wanted to harm you and you both died together that I realized I was completely wrong. So I followed you and died with you. Hearing that he died for love because of me, my eyes were filled with tears and I couldn't stop sobbing. Leonard hugged me tightly in his arms and gently wiped away my tears. Don't cry. It's all in the past. I nodded vigorously. Yes, adding fulfill session. It's all in the past. All the unbearable and painful memories are gone. In the future, only beauty and happiness await our family of 3. The little one woke up and babbled something. The sun was shining brightly outside the window, and the cicadas were chirping continuously. The warm sunlight shining into the house carried a sense of warmth and coziness. In my previous life, I was taken a fancy to by a wealthy merchant. My younger sister activated the soul swapping system. She carried out the soul swap at my wedding. You don't deserve to fight with me for a man. The male led and my younger sister poured oil on me together. And I was burned to death alive. I not only want to take away your body, but also everything that belongs to you. The condition for the soul swap is that the weights are the same. In my previous life, my younger sister put drugs in my food. My mother gave me hormone injections to make me as fat as my younger sister. My father said, "You were born to be your younger sister's stepping stone. It's your honor. Reborn for a new life." I smiled and said, "Sister, work harder. You'll soon be as heavy as me." My younger sister came over with a cup of coffee. Her voice tinged with a hint of malicious laughter. "Sister, here's the freshly ground sugar minus free coffee. Drink it while it's hot." I looked up at my younger sister. Malice swam in her eyes. As cunning as a viper. I felt a sudden nausea in my heart and couldn't stop vomiting. Why am I here? My younger sister quickly put the coffee on the table and kept patting my back. "Sister, what's wrong with you? Are you not feeling well?" From my younger sister's voice, I seemed to hear what sounded like sincere concern. Because if this body of mine gets hurt, my younger sister will be heartbroken. Ever since it was a certainty that I would marry Dorian, her attitude towards me has taken a complete 180-degree turn. She used to mock me, slander me, and now she suddenly tries to please me. It took me a while to recover. It turned out that I had been reborn. I was reborn the day after I got engaged to Dorian. Sitting on the sofa, my nose and eyes were all red. I was grateful that God had opened his eyes and given me a chance to be reborn. I looked into my younger sister's eyes and asked her in return, "What do you think is the reason for a woman to vomit?" My younger sister's fingers trembled a little, and she clenched her fists tightly. "Scarlett. You can't be pregnant. Can you? You're so cheap. I didn't expect you to be so shameless." I smiled and snatched the tissue my younger sister handed me. "What's wrong? Aren't you happy that I might be pregnant? My fiancé Dorian is my younger sister's beloved. The family rules of the Maximus family state that only the eldest sister can be married, not the younger sister. This is because my mother saved the Maximus family during its tsunami. The Maximus family is wealthy and powerful, while our family is only considered above the middle class. Our family is overreaching by marrying into the Maximus family. My mother was in excruciating pain in the hospital, but my father stayed by Violet's side to accompany her during childbirth. My younger sister and I were born on the same day. After my mother died, Violet was openly promoted as the wife. When my younger sister heard that I was pregnant, a murderous intent was hidden beneath her seemingly calm surface. Like a boiling volcano. I said, "No, Ned in Ophelia too. We just got engaged. We haven't gotten married yet. I'm not as open as some people. My younger sister quickly changed the subject. Sister. Do you want to gain a little weight? Only then can you fill out the wedding dress at the wedding. In my previous life, my younger sister started to help me gain weight, which led to the beginning of her framing me. My younger sister weighed 130 pounds. And I weighed 90 pounds. In order to carry out the soul swap, we needed to have the same weight. My younger sister has type 2 diabetes at a young age and needs to inject insulin regularly. My younger sister put drugs in my food, causing me to get fatter and fatter. My younger sister is the most popular one in the family. She is always the first to get all the delicious food. Her greedy habits have led to her developing diabetes at a young age. My father said, "Your elder sister can't be greedy. If she gets fat, no one will want her. Unlike your younger sister, who is loved by everyone." I smiled and said, "Okay. Then I'll leave the task of making me plumper to you. Sister. I think you're actually quite beautiful. Sister. If you lose weight, won't you be able to fascinate everyone? Haven't you heard that losing weight is equivalent to having plastic surgery? If you lose weight, you'll definitely be more beautiful than Yang Me." After hearing this, my younger sister's face, which was as big as a pancake, could hardly hold her pride. "That's right. If it weren't for you always snatching food from me, would I have eaten so much and be fatter than you? It's all your fault. However, why didn't I think of this method? Not only can I be beautiful, but I can also achieve." I know what she wants to say is the purpose of the soul swap. But I know that my younger sister won't do it. It's easier to sit back and enjoy the benefits than to put in the effort. What's more, this body doesn't mean much to her even if she loses weight. I'm just helping my younger sister open up her train of thought. I glanced at my younger sister, and there was a hint of panic in her eyes. "The freshly ground coffee is going to get cold. Drink it quickly." I didn't even look at it. "I won't drink it if it's cold. You can have it. Mrs. Isadora has asked me to go there tonight, so I won't be back for dinner." My younger sister looked disappointed. Before this, I heard the voice of my younger sister talking to the system. "Congratulations, host. The soul-swapping system has been activated. The condition for the soul swap is to find someone born on the same day, month, and year. The soul swap can only take place when the body weights are the same. If the strategy fails, you will become a fool." To the next day, I was packing my things. My younger sister looked a little surprised and asked anxiously, "Scarlett, where are you going this time?" I said, "I'm going mountain climbing." My younger sister immediately became anxious and said, "No. You can't go anywhere. You can only stay at home." I looked at her disappointed eyes. She must be afraid that she won't be able to put drugs in my food if I'm not at home. Violet was scrolling through her phone. "If you accidentally fall to your death, how are we going to explain it to the Maximus family?" Violet gave my father a meaningful look. And my father quickly said, "Yes. You're about to get married. Why go out? Even if you don't think about yourself, think about our family. It's not easy for us to raise you so big. All the hopes of our whole family are pinned on you. If something happens to you when you go out, we won't be able to explain it to the Maximus family." I ignored their objections and continued packing my luggage. My younger sister immediately picked up the scissors on the table and cut my clothes to pieces. She pressed her 130-pound body on my suitcase. Then she threw my luggage into the pond at the door. My younger sister roared. "I said you're not allowed to go. And you're not allowed to go. You have to listen to me." I stood up from the sofa and raised my voice. "I've made an appointment with Mrs. Isadora of the Maximus family to go mountain climbing together this time. If Mrs. Isadora is not happy and calls off the engagement, can you afford to take the responsibility? You were the ones who forced me to marry Dorian in the first place. Now I'm going to help you curry favor and win over the Maximus family. And you're the ones who don't want me to go. Fine. I'll just call Mrs. Isadora and cancel the engagement." Violet quickly said, "If you're not at home, who's going to wash the clothes?" Who's going to mop the floor? Although I'm your stepmother. At least I haven't let you starve to death. When my younger sister was a child, she stole Violet's money and said that I was the thief. Violet forced me to eat rat meat and fed me fried cockroaches. When I refused to eat, she whipped me. My father always said, "Violet always beats you. You must have done something wrong to make her angry. Why doesn't she beat your younger sister?" It's easy to find a pretext for a false accusation. How could he come up with such a brainless reason and excuse? So, according to him, I've been living until now thanks to Violet's kindness. Seeing that I didn't answer, Violet immediately grabbed my hand. "You can go. But hand over the 20 million engagement gift money that the Maximus family gave you. Otherwise, you're not allowed to go out." My father echoed. "Scarlett, it's not safe for a girl like you to hold so much money in your hands. What Violet means is that we'll keep it for you first and give it back to you when you get married. In my previous life, they tried every means to get my 20 million engagement gift money. They tied me up and didn't let me eat, in order to force me to hand over the money. My younger sister and Violet found some thugs. They made them strip off my clothes and took videos." My younger sister smiled sinisterly and said, "If Dorian finds out how promiscuous you are before marriage and we send this video to the Maximus family, what do you think they'll think?" My younger sister was just trying to scare me. If I was ruined, it would also ruin the happiness of her daughter. At that time, I didn't know their purpose. I thought my innocence was more important, so I was forced to hand over the 20 million. I patted the dust off my hands and smiled. "Violet, this money was given to me by the Maximus family. Not to you. Besides, yesterday, I, following Mrs. Isidora's financial management advice, I've already used this money to buy a time deposit financial product." Jealousy filled my younger sister's eyes. The future daughter minus and minus law is arrogant before she even enters the family. "You stole my Dorian. I was supposed to be the young mistress of the Maximus family." I turned to my younger sister. "If I remember correctly, it was the Maximus family who took a fancy to me. Not you. Now you're the ones who need my help, right? I didn't want to marry Dorian in the first place. It was you who forced me and begged me to marry him. I'm the thorn in their side. Everything I do is wrong." During the summer vacation of my university, I didn't go home. Instead, I went to work part-time. Travel, mountain climbing, and surfing. They are the real family. In this way, having fulfilled fiancé, I won't get in their way. Violet often said, "It would be best if you fell to your death from the mountain and your body couldn't be found, so that we don't have to collect your body." My father exhaled a puff of smoke and stepped forward. All right. We're all family. In the future, what belongs to Scarlett will also be ours. Ophelia, hadn't so felt right sigh. Quickly ask the maid to help your sister pack her things and get ready to go. Birds of a feather flock together. I don't know if my mother was blind or something to have fallen in love with my father. Later, I found out that my father had embezzled my mother's huge accidental insurance money. Just as I was about to drink some water, Sunny ran over and jumped on me, knocking my water bottle to the ground. I almost forgot about Sunny. She is a Labrador retriever, a stray dog that I adopted. In my previous life, at first, I thought Sunny was sick. She would rummage through my food and break my water cup for no reason. I thought that even the dog in this family was bullying me. It turned out that Sunny knew everything and was trying to remind me. But I was so stupid that I thought Sunny had gone crazy and finally asked the nanny to take her away. Later, Ophelia and her mother went even further and directly injected me with sleeping pills and hormone rugs. After I died, Sunny would bring a bouquet of flowers to my grave every day. I then realized that my younger sister had put drugs in my unopened water. My younger sister scolded Sunny. "Sunny, you always cause trouble. I'll send you to the dog market and let you be eaten as dog meat." I held Sunny in my arms, cleared my throat, and said seriously, "If anyone mistreats Sunny, I won't marry Dorian. The whole family hopes that I will marry Dorian. They plan to carry out the soul swap at the wedding. Now they need my help." My younger sister's face turned pale. and she quickly changed the subject. When will you be back? I put Sunny down and said. It should be about a month. If you're not worried. Why don't you come with me? My younger sister quickly said. I'm not going. My younger sister gets tired just walking a few steps on a flat road. Mountain climbing would kill her. I sized up my younger sister's 130-pound figure. I know that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But I still can't understand why Dorian would like my younger sister. The nanny helped me pack my things. And I was about to leave when Dorian arrived. He was dressed in a suit. Looking really like a professional elite boss. There was a hint of deceitful cunning between Dorian's eyebrows. As if he was always ready to scheme against others. He stomped the mud off his feet at the door. When he saw me carrying a backpack, his face immediately changed. Scarlett. Where are you going? I put down my backpack, patted the dust off Dorian's shoulders, adjusted his tie, and said softly, I'm going to take care of your future. I'm going on an outdoor adventure with Mrs. Isadora. When the wedding date is set, I won't go mountain climbing anymore and will be your Mrs. Dorian with peace of mind. Take good care of Sunny for me while I'm away mountain climbing. She likes to be clingy and wants to be taken everywhere. I looked into Dorian's eyes. If it weren't for the betrayal in my previous life, I would almost have been deceived by the tenderness in his eyes. Dorian put his hands around my waist, but his peripheral vision was fixed on my younger sister. My younger sister was full of jealousy. Scarlett, do you know that showing off your love too much will lead to an early end? In my previous life, I didn't understand how I died until the very end. In this life, I know. Even if I have to risk my life, I have to give it a try. Dorian quickly played the peacemaker. Okay. I'll definitely raise Sunny to be plump and healthy. Scarlett. I support you in whatever you like. In my previous life, besides liking my younger sister, Dorian also liked my dog. Okay. I'm leading. I sat in the car and turned on the monitor on Sunny. They were flirting in the back garden. I heard my younger sister acting cockasly in Dorian's arms. My parents watched them being together. And Dorian would even spend the night in my younger sister's room at night. Do you like Scarlett? You were just hugging and cuddling with her. You haven't come for so long. Have you forgotten about me? I have to endure Scarlett's arrogant orders every day here. Dorian hugged my younger sister tightly in his arms. How could I like her? She can't even tell right from wrong. Unlike you. You have a nice figure with a curvy body. When you two swap souls, we can be together openly. Right? On the surface, Dorian is nice to me and cares about me because of my younger sister's plan. He is the young master of the Maximus family who was living outside. Just because my younger sister brought Dorian breakfast in the morning when he was down and out. My mother once saved Maximus, Mrs. Isadora, and Dorian during a tsunami. Maximus remembered my mother's life minus saving grace. And Mrs. Isadora was also very kind to me. So, they asked me to marry their son. A life minus saving grace is not as important as a few breakfasts. My younger sister secretly rejoiced. When Scarlett comes back, I'll give her double the dose of the drug. Then we can swap souls. Everything that belongs to Scarlett will be mine. The identity of the wife of the Maximus family will be mine. I think it's too boring to kill someone directly. There will be plenty of time in the future. During the time I was away from home. Although I went with Mrs. Isadora. Our respective destinations were different. After that, we separated. I didn't go mountain climbing but planned everything. I used the 20 million from the Maximus family to establish an investment company. With the memories of my previous life, I invested in those that would surely become the giants of the domestic industry in the future. The Maximus family is only engaged in the real industry, which is far from comparable to the service industry. The Maximus family is only the leader in our city minus level industry. Few days later, the Maximus family sent 10 boxes of high minus scent skincare products, 10 boxes of health products, and high minus and custom minus made dresses, all of which were tailored to my figure. I installed a monitor in my younger sister's room and saw that she was using the skincare products sent by the Maximus family. She scooped out a large amount of each bottle of essence cream and applied it to her face. She tilted her head back and closed her eyes, looking like a fairy absorbing the essence of the sun and the moon. My younger sister grabbed a handful of fish oil, vitamins, and other health products and stuffed them into her mouth. Does that bitch deserve these high-end products? Only a little princess like me is worthy of them. Not only will these high-end skincare products be mine in the future, but also the bags and clothes. The property of the Maximus family will also belong to me and Dorian. My younger sister rummaged through all the dresses and bags sent by the Maximus family and tried them on one by one. How could a person weighing 130 pounds and wearing an XL size fit into my S size clothes? My younger sister angrily stepped on these high-end custom-made clothes and trampled on them wantonly. A sparrow wants to become a phoenix. Scarlett. You won't even know how you die then. When I become Scarlett, I'll burn you all with the fire and have new ones custom-made. I don't want to wear someone else's second-hand clothes. My younger sister was talking to the system. System. Now that Scarlett isn't around, how can I make her gain weight? My younger sister was waiting for me to fall into her trap like a person waiting by a tree stump for a hare. Maybe I should add fuel to the fire. One day, as soon as Dorian went out, there were many reporters surrounding the company. Mr. Dorian, netizens said that after using your company's cosmetics, their faces all ulcerate. It is said that you used inferior raw materials. Is this true? Netizens also took your skincare products to an institution for testing. The document in my hand is the product report issued by the testing institution. The report shows that your company used the prohibited cosmetic ingredients triclosan and fluorescent whitening agents in order to help Dorian grow. Maximus asked him to establish a company in his name, persuade the major shareholders, and thus prove that he is a suitable heir to the Maximus family. Except for the startup capital, no other help will be given. Dorian didn't expect there to be so many reporters today, blocking the company's entrance tightly. At first, he thought it was just some complaints from netizens in the live broadcast room. Dorian casually replied, "Sorry. My company will issue the testing certificates of our products and make them public. Look forward to the information released on our official website at that time. Besides, for the toxicity of any skincare product, talking about toxicity without mentioning the dosage is just playing tricks." Dorian didn't expect that all the media official websites released videos. It was precisely because of Dorian's words. Talking about toxicity without mentioning the dosage is just playing tricks. That aroused the attack of netizens, and it fermented into a hot topic on the internet. It's obvious that they admit it's toxic. Selling toxic cosmetics to consumers and still being so self-righteous? I'm going to complain to 12,306. Report the production of fake and inferior products. For a while, the live broadcast platform took down all the links of Dorian's company. The funds were also frozen. Dorian started to panic because the main sales channels of the company were all online. Now that the online channels couldn't operate, the inventory was piled up in the warehouse, and the funds couldn't be recovered. Dorian's company couldn't operate and turn over. In my previous life, I didn't know until I died that Dorian, for the sake of profit, ignored the health of consumers and added prohibited substances. Netizens didn't know this and kept buying the so-called good and cheap products of his company. This is also why my younger sister never uses the skincare products produced by Dorian's company, but uses high-end and noble skincare products. Dorian called me, but I didn't answer. Dorian sent me a lot of WeChat messages. "Scarlett, when will you come back? I want to get married on May Day. I miss you so much." Because Maximus once promised that the engagement gift money for my marriage to Dorian would be 500 million. Dorian wants to obtain 500 million funds through the wedding and let my younger sister enter the Maximus family with my body. Dorian wants to find me, the poor fool, to be the scapegoat. In my previous life, I was locked in the basement by Dorian. When my younger sister wasn't around, he insulted me in every possible way. Later, when my younger sister found out, there was a big commotion. So, my younger sister brought a basin of boiling lard and asked Dorian to pour soap in my mouth and make me swallow it. Then I was burned to death alive. How could I let Dorian succeed in getting this 500 million? Because I want. I didn't reply. In desperation, Dorian had to go to my younger sister. For Dorian was shocked when he saw my younger sister. Ophelia. Why have you gained so much weight all of a sudden? What have you been eating every day? My younger sister didn't even realize that she had gained weight. Because she had no pressure. She never weighed herself. Unlike me, having fulfilled fiancé, who weighed myself once a week. My younger sister said that not weighing herself meant that her weight hadn't increased. Only then did my younger sister realize that she had indeed gained a lot of weight. There were 3 layers of fat around her belly. My younger sister said with a crying voice. I didn't eat anything special. It's the same as usual. Dorian. Do you not love me anymore? Dorian hugged my younger sister and comforted her. If you get much fatter. How can we carry out the soul swap then? Now that Scarlett isn't at home. You can't put drugs in her food either. My company's capital chain is broken now. I urgently need to marry Scarlett. In order not to arouse her suspicion. We have to get married within 2 months. The company can only last for 2 months at most. Otherwise it can't operate anymore. Ophelia, having fulfilled my fiancé. The person I'm going to marry is you. So you can't get any fatter. My younger sister didn't know that those skincare products and health products were sent by me. Double the dose of hormone drugs were injected into the skincare products. The fish oil in the health products was all hormone drugs. She eats half a bottle of health products a day and uses a bottle of skincare products a day. Who else would get fat if she doesn't? 1 month is enough for my younger sister to gain 15 pounds. Now she should at least weigh 145 pounds. Now it's as difficult as ascending to the sky to play tricks on me. My younger sister was almost crying. What should we do then? I have some money in my hand. There are some jewelry that Mrs. Isadora gave to Scarlett. But I can't wear them. So I sold them. Here is 2 million. You can take it and use it for a while. I'll think of a way on my side. I knew that my younger sister should need me at this moment. I went back home. My younger sister was very happy to see me back. She thought she could put drugs in my food. The first thing I did when I got home was to weigh myself. I asked my younger sister to bring me my weighing scale. My younger sister said with a disappointed face. Scarlett. Why have you lost another 2 pounds? You're only 90 pounds now. I smiled and said. Do you also want to lose weight? How about going surfing with me? Dorian's sister has invited me to go surfing and has already bought the plane tickets. Do you want to go? If I didn't use the excuse of the people from the Maximus family. After all, we're just engaged now. My younger sister wouldn't dare to play Rex under their noses. Violet would definitely lock me at home. Inject me with sleeping pills and hormone drugs. And make me eat hormone-containing food. For the sake of money. They don't care so much. If this body is damaged, they can just find another one. Hearing that I couldn't stay at home again and their plan failed again. My younger sister's face was full of anxiety and unease. I really want to lose weight. Is there any way to lose weight without exercising? I pretended to rest my chin in my hand and thought for a while. There really is. I seem to have thought of someone. Hasn't Mrs. Isadora always been very slim? I remember she once had a personal trainer and nutritionist. I have her WeChat. Do you want me to send it to you? However, her fee is a bit expensive. There seemed to be hope in my younger sister's eyes. Yes, having fulfilled my obsession. She was really slim and elegant before. It turns out that there was someone giving her advice behind the scenes. How much does this trainer charge? 300 yuan a month. My younger sister stammered a bit. Scarlett. I don't have that much money. For the sake of me being your younger sister. Could you please advance the money for me? I said. It's not a matter of money now. Even if you have the money, you may not be able to make an appointment with her. I called Coach Blair. Hello. Coach Blair. Do you have time this month? The time is a bit tight. I'm helping Mrs. Kin from the Kin family lose weight this month. She has lost 30 pounds in a month. However, Scarlett. You're so thin. Do you still want to lose weight? I smiled and emphasized the word younger sister in my tone. It's my younger sister who wants to lose weight. Not me. When my younger sister heard that she could lose 30 pounds in a month, she thought that she was now 145 pounds, and it was very hopeful to lose weight to 90 pounds. It would only take 2 months. Just in time for the soul swap at my wedding. My younger sister snatched the phone and said, "How much is it per month? I want to book Coach Blair." 300. Yuan. Since you were recommended by Scarlett, I'll give you a discount. 200. Yuan. There was a lot of calculation in my younger sister's eyes. As if everyone was just a pawn for her. Because from her conversation with the system, it seemed that every step was under her control. Host. If your weight reaches 90 pounds, you can swap souls with Scarlett. Scarlett. Just wait and see. Everything that belongs to you will be mine in the future. Dorian came in and saw me. Scarlett. You didn't answer my phone calls or reply to my WeChat messages this month. You almost drove me crazy with worry. I plan to have the wedding with you on May Day, which is 2 months from now. What do you think? I sat on the sofa, peeled an orange, and put it in my mouth. Okay. I'll leave it all to your arrangement. But I don't like dealing with those details. You can decide how to do it. I'm going to try to win over your sister tomorrow and go surfing with her. Dorian's sister is a major shareholder of the Maximus family. Without her approval, the other shareholders won't recognize Dorian as the heir. Dorian said with a satisfied face. Scarlett. You're really my good wife. Marrying you is the greatest blessing in my life. I felt nauseous when I heard this. Even my father might not be able to say such cheesy love words. Who would want to marry someone who once killed themselves? Unless they're crazy or they've already planned how to set a trap. At this time, my younger sister also interrupted. Scarlett. If it were me, I'd want to get married tomorrow. I smiled and said, why don't you get married for me? My younger sister suddenly had red eyes and roared. Scarlett. You're already being arrogant even though you're not the wife of the Maximus family yet. Don't be too complacent. So what if I like Dorian? Can you kill me? So what if I like him? What Ophelia has been longing for is so casual in my eyes. So of course she has to vent her dissatisfaction. I ignored Ophelia. I didn't forget to recommend Coach Blair to Ophelia and then I left. 5. I sent a WeChat message to Coach Blair. Coach Blair. I'll give you 100. Yuan for every pound you help my younger sister lose. My goal is to help my younger sister lose weight to 30 pounds less than her current weight. Okay. Thank you. My benefactor. If she doesn't lose weight, she's just making things difficult for me. 2 months later. Dorian was so busy with the affairs of his company that he didn't have time to visit my younger sister at all. Dorian had no choice but to lay off employees. In order to give Dorian a surprise, my younger sister didn't ask Dorian to come over for 2 months. I also received a message from Coach Blair. Your younger sister has now lost weight to 80 pounds. I've adjusted the weighing scale. The weight shown on the scale is 95 pounds. I've been using the liquid fasting method, the ketogenic diet method, the water drinking method for your younger sister every day. She doesn't eat carbohydrates and only eats some greasy food. Whenever your younger sister wants to binge eat, I tell her to think about her goal. If she can't control her figure, how can she control her life? Your younger sister doesn't dare to eat anything now. She has downloaded an app. As soon as she eats something, it calculates the calories. And she doesn't eat more than 200 calories a day. I replied. Well done. I'll be back tomorrow. You know what to do. Coach Blair really went all out and even used a rigged weighing scale. I sent a message to Dorian that I would go home to choose the wedding dress tomorrow and asked him to come over. As soon as I entered the door the next day, I saw my younger sister with a sunken face. She was wearing a belly-bearing top, with a sunken collarbone and her ribs showing. Sister, why have you lost so much weight? My younger sister said triumphantly. Thanks to the coach you recommended. I can wear S-size clothes now. The first thing I did when I got home was of course to weigh myself. I weighed myself and found that I was 90 pounds. I said to Coach Blair. This weighing scale really isn't accurate. I've exercised so much this month. Why haven't I lost weight? Coach Blair took the scale and looked at it. Ophelia. Weigh yourself to see if it's accurate. 90 pounds. Ophelia. You're as thin as Scarlett now. My younger sister was so happy that she almost jumped up and said proudly. You're just gluttonous yourself and still blame the scale for being inaccurate. Didn't you expect it? I'm as thin as you now. I asked in surprise. Sister. Why are you so thin? You should reward yourself. Why don't I see Violet? Violet will definitely be very happy if she sees you. You're so beautiful now. My younger sister casually said. I haven't seen my mom for a month. She doesn't answer my calls either. She says she's busy. But I have no idea what she's so busy with. Then I took out some potato chips, fried chicken, hamburgers, and a cake from my bed. Look, I brought you some delicious food. These are all the things you usually love to eat. I casually gave her a Dorian meal minus fuel. I took a piece of cake and gobbled it down. My younger sister watched and drooled. Even if we have the same weight, I'm not afraid as long as you don't get fat. My younger sister, who had been hungry for 2 months, finally couldn't resist the urge to binge eat. But she couldn't even do that now. My younger sister took the cake and was about to take big bites. After just 2 bites, my younger sister started to feel nauseous and vomited. Dorian came over. He was shocked to see my emaciated younger sister. His eyes didn't turn to me, but he turned to my younger sister with a worried questioning look. Ophelia. Are you taking drugs? Why are you so thin? My younger sister was actually quite satisfied. She thought Dorian was caring about her. It's okay, Dorian. I just lost weight by dieting. I said I wouldn't be back for dinner that night because Mrs. Isadora had invited me to have dinner at her place. There was still a week left until the wedding. My younger sister hadn't seen Dorian for a long time and was expecting Dorian to praise her figure. Dorian said, Aren't we supposed to choose the wedding dress today? I waved my hand and said, Let my younger sister try on the wedding dress. Isn't she as thin as me now? My younger sister was very happy to go and try on the wedding dress. So Dorian took my younger sister back to his villa at night. Sunny had always been by Dorian's side, and there was a bug on Sunny that I had placed. During the candlelit dinner at night, my younger sister looked at the table full of dishes and wanted to have a big meal. But every time she took only 2 bites. She felt nauseous. So she couldn't enjoy the candlelit dinner either. At night, Dorian asked my younger sister to go to bed first as he still had something to deal with. After finishing his work, Dorian fell onto the bed and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, my younger sister, with her hair disheveled, sat on Dorian's body and groped around. Dorian was so scared that his eyes were filled with horror. He almost lost his wits and pushed my younger sister off the bed. Mom. Ghost. After a while, he realized it was his younger sister. My younger sister said, Dorian. Are you starting to dislike me? Dorian replied, No. My younger sister was 1.7 meters tall but only weighed 75 pounds. Dorian was scared. Moreover, who would be interested in a skeleton-like person? No. You should rest well. Next week at the wedding, you'll swap souls with Scarlett. Recently, my younger sister hadn't continued losing weight. She just wanted to maintain her weight. But she was getting thinner and thinner. My younger sister seemed to realize that there was something wrong with her body. She went to the hospital for a check-up, and the doctor said she had already developed anorexia. She was afraid of getting fat when eating anything. She couldn't get over this psychological hurdle, which was why she got anorexia. She couldn't regain her weight for a long time. This news was like a thunderbolt to my younger sister. After that, my younger sister sent messages and called Dorian. But he always used the excuse of being busy with the company and stopped coming to see my younger sister. One morning, I received a video from my friend. In the video, Dorian was hooking up with other women in a bar, putting his arms around their shoulders. You girls are really hot. My girlfriend. She lost so much weight that she looks like a skeleton. She almost scared the hell out of me at night. Just looking at her makes me feel sick. Who would want to be with a skeleton? I sent this video to my younger sister. I said, "Look at your Dorian. Considering that we grew up together as sisters, I'm helping you see his true colors." My younger sister not only didn't appreciate it but said, "Scarlett. You bitch. You must be trying to drive a wedge between us. You won't die a good death. Dorian loves me so much. He couldn't possibly betray me. This video of yours must be A- generated. Do you dare to bet with me? Dorian will definitely marry me." I said. "What if he doesn't?" My younger sister said with certainty. "If he doesn't, I'll be your servant for the rest of my life." Dorian was no longer the Dorian he used to be. Love was nothing in the face of power. My younger sister still thought she was bound to win. Dorian went to bars every day. And he had many rumored girlfriends. I sent the photos and information of them to my younger sister one by one. When my younger sister confronted Dorian, Dorian always made excuses, saying it was just business entertainment. My younger sister had pent-up emotions for a long time and had to find a way to vent them. The wedding was held as scheduled on May 1st. Many reporters came. Dorian was going to clarify the previous rumors on this day. My younger sister also came wearing a wedding dress. She saw that our parents were also getting ready to take their places. The bride was about to go onto the stage. My younger sister started talking to the system. "System. I'm ready. Let's start the soul swap with Scarlett." After a while, a mechanical voice came. "The soul swap failed. The weights of the two parties are different." My younger sister didn't believe it. The system must have made a mistake. How could they be different? "Let's try again." I smiled and said, "There's no need to try. We don't have the same weight. I weigh 95 pounds now. And you weigh 75 pounds. There's a difference of 20 pounds. My younger sister plopped down on the ground and grabbed my wedding dress, saying it was impossible. My younger sister took Violet's hand and said, "Mom, what's going on? Please help me." Violet pushed my younger sister away. "Who's your mom?" "Scarlett is my daughter." "Mom, are you crazy? Did that bitch Scarlett drug you or something?" Seeing that Violet didn't answer her, my younger sister turned to my father. "Dad, save me. Let me marry Dorian." My father said to my younger sister absent-mindedly, "I think it's fine as it is. Scarlett gives me a lot of money. It saves the trouble of swapping things around." The wedding started. I took my father's arm and walked into the wedding hall. When my father was about to give my hand to Dorian, my younger sister rushed over. "Dorian. It's me. I'm Ophelia. The body swap failed. You know me, hasn't fulfilled my intention. Right? You love me, right?" Dorian pushed my younger sister to the ground. "Security. Where did this crazy woman come from? Drag her away." Dorian whispered in my younger sister's ear. "Your sister is so sensible. And she's also helpful for me to fight for the family property. Only a fool would choose you. It's even better that the soul swap failed. In my previous life, my younger sister treated me like this too. I was also dragged away by the security guards and imprisoned in a dark basement. My younger sister sat on the ground crying. "Dorian. How could you be so ungrateful? You said you only loved me. If you're heartless, don't blame me for being injustice." At this moment, my younger sister snatched the microphone from the host. I exposed Dorian again. He once killed Scarlett's mom in order to get the formula of Scarlett's mom's skincare products. When Scarlett's mom refused to say it, he smothered her with a pillow and finally said she jumped off the building by herself. Dorian snatched the microphone and kicked my younger sister in the stomach. My mom was a researcher of a famous skin care product brand and held the confidential formula of the company. Moreover, the formula wouldn't be completely controlled by one person. A complete formula required more than a dozen people to combine their parts. Even if he asked it out, it wouldn't be a complete formula. My mom signed a confidentiality agreement and was absolutely not allowed to leak it randomly. Dorian, in order to get the formula and turn his situation around, set his sights on my mom. My mom was just in the hospital for a minor cold. But the sad news that came was that she had jumped off the building. It turned out that the real culprits behind it were Dorian and my younger sister. My mom once said Dorian. If I had known this earlier, I wouldn't have let Dorian survive that tsunami in Thailand. All the major media were live minus broadcasting. The police came and arrested Dorian and my younger sister Ophelia. The wedding was interrupted. But luckily, I had already gotten the 500 million yuan. 9 when I visited my younger sister in prison. She was even thinner than before. Scarlett, did you come to save me out? I shook my head. I'm here to give you a gift for our meeting. My younger sister saw Violet, who was handcuffed. Mom, save me. I smiled and said, are you sure she's your mom? Then Violet was taken away. I said, your mom stole my big diamond ring. It's worth 50 million yuan. How long do you think she'll have to stay in prison? I designed that ring. Why has Violet been so cold to you? Because I plucked some of my hair and scattered it all over your room. Especially wrapped it around your comb. I sent a message to your mom saying that you're not her biological daughter. And the biological one was swapped by my dad. Anyway, hadn't so still Ryan Sesham. Neither you nor I are her biological daughters. It's better for her to side with me. I'm going to be the future wife of the Maximus family. By the way, it was your mom who put the hormone drugs in your skincare products. Double the dose. Double the pleasure. My younger sister went crazy. Scarlett, you're a lunatic. How could you be so vicious? Using drugs on your own sister. Was Coach Blair also part of your plan? I smiled and said, I'm just treating you in the same way you treated me. Didn't you put drugs in my water, my coffee, and my food? If I hadn't been killed by you and framed by your family, I would still be your little guinea pig at your mercy. Coach Blair was part of my plan. But it seems she has some personal grudges against you. Don't you remember that she was the one you bullied in junior high school? How are you feeling with your anorexia? My younger sister said. Scarlett, it's all my fault. Save me. There are so many rats and cockroaches in here. I said. Use your soul swap system. Don't you have a system? My younger sister suddenly squatted down on the ground and questioned me. How do you know I have a system? Because you used it before. Have you forgotten? My younger sister suddenly stood up, laughing maniacally. The prison guards next to her dragged her back. Get away. Don't touch me. Did you hear me? I'm the wife of the Maximus family. I walked out of the prison. My assistant asked me if I still wanted to visit Dorian. I felt disgusted just thinking of that kind of hypocrite. I'll wait for him to get out. I said. Do something about it inside. As long as no one dies. Make him suffer as much as possible. Remember. I want him to stay alive. 10 Subsequently. A storm swept through the internet. The Maximus family stock price was also affected by Dorian's incident. One day, I received a call. Hello. Is this Miss Scarlett? I'm John. Are you interested in investing in our company? I hung up the phone. It was the voice of someone from the Maximus family. I invested the 500 million yuan given by the Maximus family into a new leading enterprise and got dozens of times the return. My assets were already far beyond what the Maximus family could compare with. My father was addicted to women and alcohol all day long. He took too much Viagra and finally became paralyzed from the waist down. He lay in the hospital and became a vegetable. One night, the medical equipment malfunctioned due to poor contact, and all his organ function stopped. 10 years later, Scarlett and Dorian were both released. As soon as they walked out of the door, they were dragged to the suburbs by a van. I was waiting for the two of them in an abandoned building. 2 bodyguards took off the hoods of Dorian and my younger sister. Dorian couldn't wait and said, Scarlett, shall we get married this month? I treated you badly in the previous life. It was all because of that bitch's instigation. He said he had a soul swap system. I was bewitched by him. So I did those unforgivable things. I know you love me. I smiled and said, Dorian, are you stupid from being beaten inside? Do you think I could love someone who killed me in the previous life and then killed my mom? You don't deserve to be a human being. At this time, a group of bodyguards surrounded them. My younger sister started to panic. I'm the wife of the Maximus family. Who are you? After I kill Scarlett, all the property of the Leo family will be mine. Dorian. Will you marry me then? Dorian pushed my younger sister away. Scarlett. This is a society ruled by law. You can't do anything to me. Killing people is against the law. There was a hint of murderous intent in my eyes. Really? I didn't say I was going to kill anyone. I clapped my hands. 2 bodyguards pushed out a cage, in which there were 2 pigs. I carefully selected these 2 pigs according to your body sizes and weights. This body is very expensive. My younger sister stopped pretending to be stupid. Scarlett. What are you going to do? At this time, a mage came out. I stood up from the chair and walked in front of Dorian and my younger sister. Only you are allowed to have a soul swap system. Can't I have one? Someone. Prepare the ceremony. Sister. Didn't you say that if you lost, you would be my servant? Now I'm here to cash in on that bet. Being a pig is more comfortable than being a servant. Your sister is nice to you. Right? I lifted my younger sister's chin with my fingertips. The law says you can't kill people. But it doesn't say you can't kill pigs. Such precious pigs. I'm not willing to kill them. Dorian said. Let me go. Then we can split the property of the Maximus family equally. I crooked my finger at Dorian, motioning for him to come closer and listen. Don't you know that the Maximus family has long since declined? Your dad has been calling me a lot, asking me to invest in his business. My younger sister said. Why can you get whatever you want so easily? I just want Dorian's love. Sister. Don't be afraid. I'll take you to live in a villa later and make sure you have a good life. I waved my hand, indicating that the formation and the spell minus casting should start. Sister. You two will soon be together. After a while, my younger sister and Dorian crawled out of the abandoned building with grunts. They ran to the garbage dump to pick up food. The cleaner whipped them with a broom, shouting that they were crazy. And I asked someone to put the 2 spotted pigs back into the cage and raise them in the backyard of the suburban villa. There were specially assigned people to take good care of them. With a hint of malicious laughter in my voice. I go to the suburban villa every week, because I've recently fallen in love with boxing. The coach said it would be even better if there was someone to be my live target. Aren't the 2 pigs at home the best targets? I beat the 2 pigs until they squealed. Sunny was also barking beside me to cheer me on. When the thinner and smaller pig couldn't get up, Sunny would bite her leg, scaring her so much that she didn't dare not to stand up. All the leftovers at home were given to the 2 pigs to eat. When I'm not around, the housekeeper beats them 3 times a day without missing a single time. Some neighbors complained that the sounds of the 2 pigs in my house were too noisy. One day, the police came to our door, saying that we were abusing animals and disturbing the neighbors. The housekeeper said, You're allowed to eat pork, aren't you? My pigs are disobedient. What's wrong with giving them a few beatings? So the housekeeper cut off the tongues of the 2 pigs and made a dish out of them.